Oh, I'm so glad to be back.
Why not?
Welcome. What?
Why not?
Welcome to Bragging Rights, episode 10
Of season.
Does it matter?
Yeah.
Season 3, sponsored by Comscat. Hosted at Tribal. I ain't done this for a while, can you tell? Like, sub, and hype.
I think you need stronger contact lenses.
Don't forget to like.
You go back on holiday, please.
No, please don't send me back. Please don't send me back. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hype on YouTube if you can. It really helps. You missed me.
No.
No, I didn't think you did.
I'm so disappointed, not that you're back, but I really did think you might get your hair braided. Like Monica on Friends when she's been in the humidity.
mentioned that.
I mentioned it before and I thought, he's going to do it for us.
I was on Maho Beach in St Martin watching the planes land over my head.
Where's that? Coast of Wales somewhere?
I think it's near Detroit. Watching the plane, you know where the planes land right over the top of the beach.
Oh, the Windy City.
And I'm there with my phone, trying not to fall backwards as I record the planes going over my head. And then this woman walks up, asking me if I wanted to braid my hair.
I would have loved it.
And Rachel's like, do it, go on. I was like, no, I can't do that. One time only, never again. It's not culturally appropriate.
Okay. Did you have a nice... What? Is it not? Why? Oh, it would be for me. Because I'm part Danish, and that's who used to braid the hair. That's where it comes from. Starts in the Norwegian area, doesn't it? In the Nordics.
I'm not Nordics.
Are you not?
No, I don't
Didn't
like
they do it in Canada?
No.
Coronation Street was good last night, Dean. Anyway,
Was it?
Really enjoyed it, yeah.
I'm just glad because we've got a real tight schedule, so I'm trying to see how much we can drag out the opening. Did you have a nice holiday?
It was okay.
Wow.
How are you guys?
Just to let you know,
I'm living it.
right?
This is fantastic. I'm enjoying
The
this.
first 5 days were mint. We were in the Caribbean. We did 4 different islands in the Caribbean, but then we had 6 days at sea across the Atlantic before we got to Tenerife. Not only were the 6 days at sea horrible, it was raining in Tenerife.
At least you missed the snow.
I
Did miss the snow by 2 days, yeah.
I actually know how you feel because I once went to 11 Reef and it was raining there as well, like a proper storm.
Anyway, I'm going to have my manly drink now. How's everyone been?
I've been all right. Yeah, I'm glad you're back
No, you're not.
for one reason.
For the editing.
For the editing.
Yeah, but now I've took my car back. You're not happy?
No, I'm not.
No, he did pick me up last week and go, I fucking love this car. First thing, he didn't even say hi, you always work out like that. Just led straight in with that. Oh yeah, I'm all good. I'm all good.
What are you laughing at, Alicia? Alicia?
How are you, Josh?
True. She's your wife now. You call her by the
Yeah, I'm
name.
grand, cheers, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely grand, yeah.
Derby week.
It is. First one of the season.
Just in time for the 250th derby between the two clubs.
Correct.
Aye. Am I right in thinking the 200th was the first Super League game between us?
Can't have had 50 games, surely.
I think so.
We'll be far off. We've been
Actually,
in
yeah,
Super
when you
League
think
for the
about
best
it.
part of 20 years now.
Yeah.
Just getting up there.
So 2007,
And you would be
2026 now.
2 to 3 games. If we had 3 every year, you'd be at 60, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And there was obviously one
Does that
year
include
out.
cup as well?
And there was one in the cup, wasn't there?
Yeah.
We're missing the most important number. It is Brad Fash's 200th game.
Fair play to
Did I text
Yeah.
you this the other day, put it in the group, but it did tickle me that FC on Facebook had put a message on the official page and said, celebrating 30 years of Super League. Tell us over all them years, what's your favourite Super League memory? And literally like the first 30 responses were all about the Challenge Cup. Like games about beating Wiggins. It's like, but you're not paying attention to the question.
Not
Super
listening
League
here. You're
memory.
not paying attention.
It just shows the overall intelligence level of
we've
the
got-
generic
This is
rugby
why at
league
school
fandom.
they ask you to write your working out. Because if people would have written their working out, they would have realised, wouldn't they?
Probably not. Look at it and go, that looks good. I'm submitting that.
Yeah. Challenge. Yeah, that looks fine. Yeah.
Right, well, we're on your guys. Anyway, first up.
I was right when we led into the KR preview for this week. You went, don't sound too enthusiastic. And I was like, I'm just worried that the atmosphere pre-game is going to be a bit of a damp squib. And I thought it was. I thought it was very flat before the game. And then once the game had kicked off, the atmosphere picked up, obviously helped by the performance on the pitch. What is he doing? But
Drinking my drink.
before the game, I thought it was very flat. The traditional homecoming, I'll put that in inverted commas so people don't think that I think that that's home, although technically it is, of the WCC. But yeah, it just seemed a bit flat and a bit normal, really. Like, not our first home game after.
Come across on TV.
Did it?
You messaged halfway through the game saying it's bouncing in here.
It was during the game.
It didn't come across on TV.
I walked into the ground and I was there for gates opening, so queued very briefly and got in. So a load of people I knew. And I spoke to 4 or 5 people that I sort of said the same thing to, have the usual chin wagging. What do you reckon? Yeah, I think we'll do it. You know, I kept saying that I felt we'd do it. So Kai Fowler, like, I think he was the first person going through the gates, and how do you feel? And he was a bit down on that. He said, what do you reckon? I said, Rovers by 4. We goes through. We had a photo with the World Club Challenge. It's a cup you win when you're the best team in the world, lads. You won't have seen it, don't worry. And
you play a team that haven't played together for 4 months, yeah, all right.
And then I saw a guy, Tom Emerson, who used to work with, nice lad as well. He said the same thing, what do you reckon? I said, Rovers by 4. And then the more I spoke to people, the more people were sort of going, oh, I hope so. Or a few people went, oh, I'm not so sure. And it just felt like collectively everyone was in that same sort of wavelength that I was on, which was, I'm not confident or happy about this. I can't see it going any other way. Got into where we normally stand, and bearing in mind the amount of tickets that had been sold and how busy it was, where we normally stand, there was like a bit of room.
Yeah, I had a bit of room up the top, yeah.
Now, I know there's now the new South stand, and I think people are getting better at staying in the seats if they're in the seated East stand and things like that, but it was bizarre. I'm not saying it was roomy, you know, I couldn't swing a cat, but
more than usual.
Could maybe dance for one, you know, there was a bit of room. And yeah, everyone just sort of held that, I don't know, it wasn't like a nervous atmosphere, but it was almost like another game, we could lose this, you know. We sort of resigned ourselves to the fact that we don't really know what Rovers we're going to see. And I think that just kept everybody a little bit on edge. And then when I text you late in the second half saying like the atmosphere's booming, that was more to do with the fact that we was just banging trying after try after try. So I sent that probably off the back of sheer domination for 15 minutes, where it felt like everything we did turned to gold. And it was booming at that point. But I must admit, at the start of the game, we was lacking that atmosphere that we normally have.
Yeah, somebody I was speaking to did mention, obviously, it's been, 6 weeks-ish since we won the World Club and stuff. And I don't know, I just thought there'd have been more made about it, especially after like all the trophies with it. Obviously, I'm saying first home game, we had the Loch Lane game, but it was kind of like, you'd have thought more would have been made of it.
173 days since we'd last played a Super League game at home, which coincidentally was against Saints in a semi-final to go to the grand final last year. A game that we won 20-12 in that semi-final. And in that time, so much has happened. We are going to talk about this separately in the news, but obviously, when you talk about distractions, we've had a lot of travel to do. We've had some strange things happen in the build-up. We didn't have the confirmation that we now have that Willie Peters will be leaving the club at the end of the year, but that was the main talking point of the day for all of rugby league in England, really, and a good portion of Australia, I imagine. That was a bit of a distraction. And yeah, it just felt like everybody just sort of went, we don't know what to do. We're just going to play it safe and just do a normal game atmosphere. Normal game as if nothing's happened, and that was that. And I'm not saying Morg didn't come and stand up in Craven Street and speak to us for a bit, and the World Cup Challenge was there for pictures, like I said earlier, but yeah, it just didn't feel like a celebration. And in some ways, I'm quite pleased, because it actually made me look back on it now and go, business as usual.
You had a job to do.
We've got a job to do, let's go and do it. And what we did do, to speak about the game, was our record defeat of St Helens in Super League. And I love a caveat, you know, I do, we throw them in about teams playing well or not playing well. That was a team that had run 5 on the bounce that we turned over.
And we're third in the league, I think, rightly.
Yeah.
And in a season where it feels like anyone can beat anyone, which seems to be proven after, you know, Huddersfield beat Wigan, bottom of the league, no wins, beat top of the league, undefeated.
Yeah.
It actually does matter this year. And yeah, the opening 8-10 rounds can be a bit chaotic, but I think a lot of people have maybe not tried to take away from it, but forgotten that that's a massive statement that Rovers are trying to say, or hopefully are saying, right is off at your peril, we are back.
Yeah, and I think, again, obviously, yeah, we scored a lot of tries, scored a lot of nice tries, but it was built on the back of that. I spoke about it pretty much every game last season, that defensive intensity that we brought last season, it seemed to be back. Like, we was pinning St Helens to kicks from the 30. I think Dean, you messaged and said play the balls was 13-1 in the 20.
13 to, I think you was 2 or 3 tries up, and you would have 13-0 play the
13-0.
It was
yeah.
They
zero-
only got it in the late in the first half because of a penalty kick.
Zero play the balls in our half by them until Budgie got pinged for a forward pass that I'm not convinced was a forward pass.
I said on the group,
Right.
forward.
And because of that, they got free play the balls in our half off that. They actually didn't finish all 5 tackles.
Still didn't get into our 20 there, did
Yeah.
they?
It was built on the back, as you say, Craig, of, I think, very dominant forward play. Obviously, our left edge destroyed their right edge, but even that was built off the back of dominating forward. And then, say it before you jump on your stuff, Craig, but Mikey just running wild, just did what he wanted.
Seems to like at the minute love playing against St Helens.
Scored an identical try that he scored last time we played them at our place, where he just kept going to the corner on his own. You know, Super League and Hull KR posted it on social media that the tries look very similar. And he just not only ran riot, scored a hat-trick, assisted a couple, he was 8 from 10 off the tee. And I've said several times that I worry about him, you know, being off the tee. And I'm eating my words a bit because he's been good since I first said it, you know, and everyone can miss 1 or 2. And then for me as well, I felt like Budgie, who also got a hat-trick, could have had 5 or 6 tries the way it was going.
Yeah, good. And Mikey, the kicks he missed were from out wide as well, weren't they? Because I remember that one in the second half where he missed it, and we booed him because he didn't quite reach the post, and he's running back to line up, and he's going, "What am I meant to do?" sort of thing. Get more power in your legs, kid. But no, it was great to see from our point of view, and we've spoke about this quite a lot, Josh. We always get a response, seem to get a response after a negative performance or a negative result. And again, that was evident from the get-go. I thought even in the warm-up, the intensity was strong.
It looked interested. The team looked like they'd come to do a job.
They had a rollicking, you reckon?
Nah, I think it was an accepting of the fate, because Peters had told them on the Thursday morning that he was going. It wasn't confirmed to us mere mortals, but the players and staff knew. And I think that it was right, that's what we need to kick on. I think everything that's done with the travel, you know, touch wood on this, is done now. Peters has spoke a couple of times that people have been carrying some illnesses and a bit of a not feeling the best, some fatigue since Vegas, and they still were struggling to get over it. And it just felt like it was, we've got a job, this season isn't over. You know, go out there, do a job, prove that we can still perform the way that we performed against Brisbane and the way we played last year. And that to me was, as you say, evident in the warm-up that the team was in for it. And one thing I think it was Susan said to me, how many different players have we got kicking during the warm-up? And I saw Hiku doing about 5 or 6 kicks down the right edge, and I went, we'll see Hiku do this. We're going to see him have a go. And it took about 4 minutes into the game before he put a kick through that won us a dropout before we scored our first try. It was just, I don't know, weird. It felt like Rovers of last year. It just felt like the crowd didn't realise it was Rovers of last year.
Yeah, I've got that written down there.
You can see from the intensity, like you mentioned, the aggression in defence was just, it suffocated St Helens. And it got to the point where I was watching it thinking, Saints don't want to know. They're done here. 20 minutes into that game, Saints did not want to know. But I'm not taking anything away from you. It's what we've come to know from Saints when they're playing the better teams over the last couple of years.
Well, they finally beat Leeds, didn't they, this year? And I can't remember the exact number, but up until beating them, they hadn't won a game against what was considered the top 5, was it?
Yeah, we mentioned this last
20
season.
odd games,
Yeah.
The Leeds, us and Wigan. They hadn't beaten any of us in something like 20 odd games.
Yeah, it was something like that, yeah. Which is, for a club of St Helens' stature and, you know, where they used to be in terms of competing and winning for trophies, that's mental to think of.
But you could tell there was uninterested because Tristan Saylor ran away from Budgie.
Well, he was just going to go get the red carpet to roll out.
I was going to mention that because what was he doing? Budgie didn't even throw or even pretend to throw, didn't he? All he did was switch the ball.
It was more like a twist of the hips, or it was a nothing move.
It's one of them games where you could mention so many tries instance, and I think we're right to mention that one.
That one because of the calibre of Tristan Saylor.
Couple of things I'd mention. I thought Minnie played one of his more ball handling games that he'd done for a long time. He was definitely involved. He looked a bit more like an Asiata for you when he's got his hands on the ball a lot, instead of just being a defensive sort of rock solid for us. And also I got a message from Joel Hopper, who's an old mate of mine, but I see him a lot of the games. I'd said about wanting refs to let the game flow more, and we definitely got that. We didn't see a lot of repeat sets, and we didn't see a lot of slowing down. And I said last week about Saints fans online, said wait until you play at home and see if you like how the new rules work for you. Because no one's bothered when you're winning. And what he texted me, he'd said, is it a coincidence that our 2 best games have come when we've had the same referee rules, let the game be more free-flowing and appear like the way the game was ref last year?
Yeah, because that was something I was going to mention. Obviously, I have to be quick because we've got probably less than about 30 seconds left. But the way Liam Moore ref that game, and we spoke about it in the stands, lesser referees, obviously we spoke about this last week. I'm saying lesser referees, not to be derogatory or anything like that, but a referee like Jack Smith or James Vella, they're giving 6 again, 6 again, 6 again. Liam Moore let the game flow, and he did that in the World Club Challenge, and he's done it again.
And it benefited us.
It did, because that's the way we like to play, don't we?
I feel like that was a theme through this weekend. I felt like the games were allowed to flow a little bit more, and they weren't picked up as much. I'd like to see statistics. I might be wrong, but
was it last week or the week before? And I came out and said, we get this every time when new rule introductions. We struggle for 5 or 6 rounds while refs, teams, and players and coaches adjust to it, and then we either see them get thrown out the window or we get to see them lessened. We've seen it with tackling, head-high tackles being lessened. We've seen it, I think the example I gave was about throwing the ball at a grounded man, so you get the penalty when you're trying to... We're seeing it again now. Hopefully what we saw this weekend across all the games is going to be repeated going forward, where we actually get to see a bit more rugby that isn't non-stop restart.
Bragging Rights is proudly sponsored by Comscaf. Hull's own Comscaf have been keeping things safe and steady for over 30 years, providing professional scaffolding services nationwide. If you need a team you can trust for your next project, big or small, head to comscaf.co.uk or give them a call on 01482 782 181.
Yeah. First game of rugby I've watched in over a fortnight. And it kept cutting out on the way home.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Well, I wish we'd have cut out at half-time, but we'll get into the game in a minute.
Your team did give up at half-time, didn't they? They did cut out.
Started panicking in the stands a little bit. I don't know about on the pitch. So before we get into the actual game review ourselves, there's a couple of things that was going on. There was quite a lot of activity going on in and around the ground during and before the game. So as I mentioned last week, it was the junior takeover. As you know, Amy's daughter Ella was the assistant referee. And that was great to see all the kids.
There's some dodgy decisions though, weren't there?
Great memories for the kids. They'll remember that for as long as they live, really. There's another one I want to bring up, and it was... I didn't know about this until the day of the game. So the scholars and the academy players were doing... on the peloton bikes, they had to ride 1,000 miles on them, and it was to raise money. It's the distance of Hull to Perpignan. They have to raise money for the academy's development tour to Australia next year. And there was outside the ground before the game, and then during the game they'd brought the bikes into the disabled area where the wheelchairs go in the away end, and they had there so they could watch the game whilst doing this. And there was not riding the bikes by the end of the game, so I'm guessing they completed it.
Oh, nice.
But that's a really good thing. And there's another thing that was great to see, all the retro shirts. I don't know if any of you seen the social media, but my wife was showing me yesterday. All the players turned up in all different shirts from past Super League seasons, which I thought was really good.
I particularly liked the Hull Shark shirts.
There was a couple of Hull Shark shirts.
Yeah, I really liked them.
Logan Moy turned up in one, I know that.
I saw what Moy and Litton were wearing, so that's how I'd seen them.
Yeah, really good. And myself and my daughter who'd gone yesterday as well, we had a couple of old shirts on, so that was good. And one thing, how the club announced their lineup for the game. Did
That
you
was
see that?
superb. That someone put it in the group. I was like, that is brilliant.
At CFAX style, that was brilliant. But yeah,
Took me right back to my childhood. That did.
It was great.
Looking for bamboozled on the teletext.
On to the game though. Since it's Derby week, let's start with a little dig. Why not? You're going to have a few on, no doubt about it. So, and in the words of my eldest child, as we
16-year-old.
16 years.
Oh, so she was born after you was formed as a club? Wow.
Shut up.
Get that dig in there.
Exactly. Couldn't let me just finish before you started. So, in the words of my
I
eldest...
wouldn't have interrupted if he hadn't have said the age and interrupted first.
In the words of my eldest child, who yes, he's 16 years old, as we was leaving the ground yesterday, her words, beating Leeds and Catalans this year isn't for every whole club, is it? I thought that was quite good for my eldest, that.
Yeah.
So she was well happy with herself with that.
We'll let her have that one.
We'll let her have that
Tell
one.
her she needs to get off Rugby League Twitter.
I've heard that she owns Days Since on Twitter, but I can't confirm or deny.
Well, you own the Rovers one, don't you?
No
It's
comment.
rattled
No
Revo
comment.
as well, isn't he? That's a rib tickler. Sorry, Dean.
What's that?
Rattled Revo, do you know, is it Paul Reevely, the old fan?
No.
No.
Apparently he's not massive on social media, so there's a guy called Paul Reevely who's apparently an old fan, and he just seems to tweet loads about Rovers. I don't know whether it's for bites or whether he genuinely thinks this, but someone's created a page and it's called Rattled Revo from like a Rovers standpoint, and it's a bit of a rib tickler.
Fair enough.
Go visit that.
Well, most of them on social media just to get bites and likes, aren't they? So,
That's why I'm not on it anymore.
yeah.
Yeah, my favourite one from the weekend
That's
has got nothing to do with our clubs. The one has got to do with a Wigan fan who posted saying, well, it's clear to see that Super League didn't want it to be a boring year, and so they've given the brown envelope to Wigan to roll over and let Huddersfield win. It's embarrassing to see Huddersfield be bottom of the league with no points, especially being the home of Rugby League. So actually we should be applauding our lads for doing the right thing, having integrity and allowing it to... I was like, oh, this is brilliant.
I did see that one.
Anyway, first half.
Oh, I thought it was mint. Absolutely class.
Was that before it cut out? Did it cut out
it
after
cut
about
out-
62 minutes?
It cut out within the first 5, then like a couple of minutes later, because I was on an O2 SIM, not an O2, a Vodafone SIM card, and it's crap in it, coming across the Pennines. But the bits that I did see, yeah, just it looked like everyone was pulling for each other. A bit fortunate with things like Da Costa going off within the first 5 minutes, and then they lost Garcia to an HIA after 15 minutes. So you get them little fortunate things, but
We fully deserved what we took in at half time. We controlled every aspect of the game. We was disciplined. Intensity was still there from last week. Really pleasing first half, and we could have had a few more, I think, as well.
I've got written here, Dean, honestly, because your point I completely agree with. I think that, all right, Catalan wasn't offering anything to play against and they kept making a lot of errors, but you can only play what's in front of you. I will mock the FC lads because they celebrate stuff like they've won the World Cup Challenge, right? But I like when a team do it. It just feels over the top from the whole lads. But I get it. You've got quite a lot of young lads in there that are excitable. But you deserve to do it and you played really well. If you could have kept your composure more, and this isn't any disrespect to you, I felt you could have had 2 to 3 more tries in the first half and really put that game to bed. You took all your chances really well. Anytime you made an error, like Martin knocked it on early on, instantly your team stood up and got the ball back pretty quickly.
Yep.
And went up the other end and scored. And you didn't panic. And I thought, really, going into the end of the half, all right, you dropped off the last 5-6 minutes or so, but that was just more fatigue towards the end of the half. I was sort of worried coming to second half, thinking this could be a really boring blowout loss, and you probably should score another 30 points.
you say we dropped off, and I agree we did going forward, but I've got here, for the last 10 minutes of the first half, resolute in defence. I think we dragged them out into touch twice in the last 5 minutes. They had a lot of the possession in the last 5 minutes, and we just kept them out. They had some good field position, and every man just worked for each other.
That's a prime example. Romano was dropping off. He was going. He had his running battle against his old club. He was missing tackles, and his team behind him were helping him.
Yeah.
Right.
Rovers-esque.
And it was. That's what I said in the chat. It was very Rovers-esque.
I said he was our Jez Litton.
And I said, we're not. Get his damn name out your mouth. But there was one where Briscoe gets sucked in because Romano rushes out his out position, right, and misses the tackle. And then your lads got across and got the Catalan player into touch. So it doesn't matter that Romano's missed the tackle. And that sort of effort that was so willingly there was just fantastic. It was the team's here to play, they're doing
Pulling
it.
for each other,
You didn't
backing up
fall
mistakes from
over
anyone.
like you did last year against Huddersfield and go, their shit, so we'll be shit. You went, they can do what they want, we don't care, we won't make these errors, we'll play. And that half, honestly, I put it onto Reddit, I said, I'm not sure about the second half because it's a bit boring, this.
You know what? If I was, what I would have been questioning, am I going to watch this second half? And then, but we come out in the second half, and it was just all like panic. It's like we was chasing the game a little bit. You've got Arthur putting in god awful kicks and passes. We make a break with Bell down the left hand side, and then I love the fact that everyone's wanting to get there, but the support play seemed to get in each other's way, so he couldn't make a pass to anyone. You had Lytton falling over Lasoni and there's people getting in the way, and it was just a bit of chaos. And there's a quote that you said which summed it up. That's what your class is, falling in love with yourself, and Hull do not want to do that. And I think we did.
You did fall in love with yourselves.
And Catalan got a sniff. I said to cousin Josh at half time, no matter what we do, if it's a try, goal, penalty, whatever, we need to get the first points on the board. Doesn't matter how it comes, because if we get 2 points or anything more, it's 24 points. It's a five try game then, and then that doubt is then firmly set in their head. But if you do early on, you're starting to plant seeds, and they could think, oh, well, there's still a chance here, and we just seem to drop off a little bit more, started dropping off tackles, and once they got that first sniff, it was that first try went in. You could sense it in the crowd. Everyone seemed to go, oh, this isn't done yet. And then the next try went in. And I know you've got something to mention about.
Well, I'd say two things. I don't want to, as I always do, go on too much. But the first one is, if it wasn't from a rash high tackle, which was just Catalan near the end of the game, just chasing anything they could, you would have gone scoreless in the second half. Mm-hmm. That's all you, and you didn't look like scoring for me. So that's a big worry for you guys, especially coming into the derby. And we'll do derby preview later on. But the second one is, and I'm loving the banter on social media about this, have you seen what Zach Hardaker said in his post-match interview?
Been told.
No.
So they're interviewing Zach. I believe he's maybe man of the match, and there's everything so I would say he was definitely one of your better players. I think Romano, maybe Bell was unlucky not to.
We both said Bell.
I don't want to spill any thunder because I always mention him, but really pleased to see Moy get a chance and take it. With both hands.
Deserved his meat pie as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. But he's been interviewed, and I think what Hardaker's trying to say, if I'm a neutral point of view, is that the ground was tense and that you could hear a pin drop because it was so nervy towards the end. What he actually said was, oh God, yeah, that second half, you could hear a crisp packet in the wind. Right. Now, obviously we love that you have shit atmosphere. We love the fact that you don't make noise in that empty, grey, dull stadium. So don't be surprised when 200-300 Rovers fans are dressed in giant crisp packets at the derby on Friday. I know one person will dress up everywhere that we go. I would not be surprised if he's in a crisp packet come Friday at the derby, because I understand what Zach was getting at. Yeah. But obviously Rovers fans are having a field day. Ultimately, none of it matters because you got the 2 points. And I'll be the first to say that's all that matters.
It is.
Is at this stage of the season, definitely. But just on that, sorry, just to quickly interrupt you there, Dean. Is that 12-minute period where Catalan scored 4 tries a worry? Because if that was against a better side, somebody with maybe the full squad on the pitch, that can do that and do it for a sustained period, you could have conceded.
We could have done
6 tries, maybe 5-6 tries.
It is a worry, but it's not a bigger worry as it would have been in other seasons, because what you see in this season, everyone's beating everyone, so everyone's having purple patches in games. Huddersfield go to Wigan and do what they do. York did to both of us, and so many other teams are doing it. So it's something that I'm sure we'll learn from, we'll pick up on, and hopefully we'll rectify. But it's not a concern as of yet. I'm just enjoying the fact we've gone back to back, going into a derby. Yes, it'd have been nice to have a bit more of a dominant second half. You can't have everything in life. We got the 2 points.
Conserving energy for next week.
Hope so.
So you got no reason not to put anything into it, have you?
No,
we'll be fine because as long as Asiata's playing, you know how to play as a team. Just don't take him off. And Lasoni had one run, and then the poor bugger chased that break from Bell. It was absolutely. I felt real sorry for him when he went chasing after that.
I remember watching that, and I was like, I was looking at Bell, and I was like, give it then. And then I realised it was Lasoni on his inside. I was like, yeah, I know why he kept
fast
that.
For a big
he looked
guy,
so like a sender. The ball didn't come his way. I thought, he knew he'd ran 20 metres or whatever. Anyways,
just before we wrap up, wheelchair team won, and they're into the quarterfinals of the Challenge Cup. They won 80 points to 16. Under 16 girls beat Helens, first win of the season. That was 34-4. The women's team beat Rochdale 20 points to 4. The reserves went down 22-46 at Wakefield, but the Scholars did win last Wednesday 58-0 against Leeds. So well done to them.
trouble.
That was quick.
Tribal.
It's only 8 seconds.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, as always, big thank you to our host and home of the pod, Tribal. As you're most well aware, they show a whole host of sport throughout the week, including every Super League game. Just keep an eye out on their socials for any events because we don't get given any information anymore about them. As always,
Is that a dig?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
FC and Rovers pass holders can get 15% off all food and drink orders. Also, a few of us will be in here after the derby on Friday, so if you're about, come over and say hi if you are in here.
Unless we lose, then keep it to yourself.
Yeah, leave us alone.
Oh well, right. Apparently I have to give an update now on something that I mentioned last season. I think I've already given this update earlier on in this season, but
You've
if
alluded to it, but you didn't.
I'm
fully get into
talking.
It would be remiss of you not to bring it up again.
Yeah,
just
I
to
have to
make
bring it
sure
up again,
people are aware.
considering the London Marathon is in 3 weeks. If you remember, back end of last season, I was doing some fundraising. We put the banner at the bottom. I was intending on running the London Marathon. I'm not doing it anymore. Update finished.
Just don't fancy it.
Yeah, no. Firstly, I want to thank everyone that sponsored me. I do want to say that the intention is for me to run it next year. However, if you remember back to late last season, I was due in, I had surgery. Surgery initially went really well. Then I've popped the disc back out of my back, so I'm having surgery again in 2 weeks, and it's pretty major one. I'm getting properly sliced and diced, so there's no chance of me running a marathon.
I'll tell you how you've done that.
7 days later.
It was when you was in St Martin and you was leaning back taking pictures of the planes,
No, it was. Do you know what? I actually did it on Christmas Day.
lifting your dinner plate.
All them presents that Rachel gets me every Christmas, lifting them, opening them up, and then I went and literally stood up from the sofa, and I just felt my back go.
Ooh.
So yeah, that's that. Not running a marathon this year, but I'm going to try and do it next year.
I think 3 weeks you can easily train in that. I think it's just an excuse.
3 weeks.
You
I'm
just
having the
said 3 weeks.
surgery on the 16th of April. The marathon's on the 23rd.
Oh, it's Mason's birthday. What I think here.
I think what he's really telling us is that at Christmas all he got was bags of coal and he was having to pick them up, and that's how he did it because he's a naughty boy.
Yeah, but yeah, that's exactly what it was. But no, yeah, main thing is I do want to thank everyone that sponsored, and to repay that, I will be attempting to do it next year.
Should we just waffle a bit of shit until Mr. One Bladder comes
No,
back?
it's news.
Mr. One Bladder.
Mr. One Bladder, yeah. Everyone else has got two, because even I can hold it.
Yeah, we can start with the news from around the world if you'd like.
Not loud.
No,
Right.
no more singing.
Why?
Dean goes mad.
Dean's not here. News from around the world.
I'll wait until he comes in and I'll do it midway through while Josh is talking.
Maybe let's not during this first rather sad bit of news that I've added at the top of the agenda today.
Yeah,
so
definitely. Yeah.
very, very sad to hear this morning. So by the time you get this on Wednesday, you know, it'll be quite well known, but it is Monday 30th of March was recording. It was announced this morning that unfortunately the news has come out that Rob Burrow's dad, Jeff Burrow, has passed away. Obviously very sad news for family, friends, the club, everyone involved in rugby league. I think Jeff became a bit of a figurehead during Rob's illness, and especially afterwards when it came to just supporting people, and we had a lot of trophy presentations at big games and at Ellen Road, at Headingley and things like that. He became well known and well seen, and we've all seen the documentaries. We all know how upsetting it is. Today's a sad time for everyone involved. Obviously, nothing that can be said or done apart from we just send from us lot, you know, and I'm sure everyone in rugby league is doing the same, just sending a lot of love to the Burrow family, to all the friends, and to everyone involved. It's just some crappy news to wake up for on a Monday morning.
Absolutely.
Moving on then, a couple of points to get through on news this week. Do feel like it is worthwhile mentioning that obviously we did have Tara Jones this week, not only receiving her MBE, but also for the first time ever having a woman refereeing a Super League game. She did ref the Wigan and Huddersfield game at the weekend. I thought that, you know, I watched the game, I felt personally she did a good job.
She did.
She didn't do anything outrageous to make me question her ability as a referee. So, you know, treating it as any other person.
Did Susan slag her off at any point?
I don't recall anything.
I don't recall anything negative in our group, and I haven't actually seen anything negative online, which is very rare in this day and age. But it is, you know, well done to Tara, well done to everyone involved to get to that point. We need more people involved in the sport, and we need more referees at a high level. And if this is somebody that can carry on at this level, it doesn't matter, male, female, or whatever. So well done to Tara, not only on her MB, but also on reffing a good game, and yeah, taking that step up and history making. I believe one of the quotes that I saw was, her impact today should become less irrelevant going forward because it won't be a landmark in the future, which means more women involved and just make it seen as normal. So great news for the sport, great news for women.
Yeah, well,
Absolutely.
Not breaking news for anyone. If you are shocked by this, you shouldn't be. We've already mentioned it, but we have to add it. It's probably the biggest news, really, in terms of the Super League this week, that it was finally confirmed that Willie Peters will leave Hull Kingston Rovers at the end of the season to join the P&G Hunters.
Chiefs. Isn't it?
Chiefs, yeah.
What did I say then?
Hunters.
I meant Chiefs.
That's the second string team, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
that's
whatever,
the
North Queensland.
Queensland Cup, I think.
Yeah, I think it's because I was going to mention. I know I've done that. My apologies. It's because I was saying that hopefully this can be part of keeping that connection that Hull KR have had with P&G, with the players like Stanley G and John Oakle and people over the years. McCarley, who people that have played for us that come from there, of heritage there. That this could be part of it, and maybe linking up with the Hunters more, and then with the Chiefs in the future. But we will probably at the end of the year have time, once we know how the year shakes out, for me and Craig to talk about Peters and his impact on the club in more detail.
I have a question on this, quick one, and it's based on how many British players we're currently seeing leaving, especially Leeds, to go play for Perth next season. Is there a worry from a Rovers perspective that you're going to see a couple of your Rovers players go along with him?
Yeah, I'm massively concerned that Lee Kershaw will go, you know.
My main one would be, because I've seen a lot of stuff. Marcus By's the chief executive of the Chiefs, and he's been saying this week how, reminding people that Cleary's out of contract and that they really want him, and that for whatever reason, I don't know why, but Cleary's got this sort of connection with P&G. I think it's his girlfriend that's got P&G heritage or something, and everyone in P&G loves him apparently. And I'm thinking, well, if you've got Cleary at 7 and then Peters somehow manages to get Mikey in at 6, like that'd be a class sort of opening 7 and 6.
Build your team around.
6-7.
I tried not to do it. To build your team around, yeah. And I think if there's anyone from your club that's needs to go and test themselves, I think it is Mikey.
See, I don't.
And Jez as well.
With Mikey, it's too soon, I think. I don't think he's quite there yet. I think potentially. I think I put this in the, absolutely. I put this in the group. With the potential that he's got, and we've seen it from him in sort of spades last season, where he was this mature player and he was kind of, I don't want to use the word, but mercurial, because it's quite a...
I just think with his talent, I mean, you look at, there's a lot of players in the NRL that need a bit more maturity, to be fair, when you look at some of the stuff they get up to off the field. But if I'm Willie Peters, I'm looking at Mikey and I'm looking at Jez and I'm thinking, please come with me.
When Mikey Lewis is playing like he was on Friday night, where he's running riot and he's a running, attacking half first, and when you look at how the NRL's played and how quick it is nowadays, you can see why he could have a chance of making it. When you stand and watch players like Williams, who likes to stand back playing his dinner suit a little bit more, and you see how they didn't make it over there and they've had to come to Super League, you start to think a little bit more and go, I can understand.
I think that's a really bad
example. I should have picked some better,
because Williams did really well, in my opinion.
Certain players in different styles, I should say. I was trying to get through the point, but if Mikey can build that maturity, fine, I think he could fit in and he could do that, and especially with the pace of game, what you saw on Friday night would suit NRL really well. If he's surrounded by talent as well that can lay a platform like our forwards did, and you've got somebody, might not be someone as much of a superstar as Cleary alongside him, but someone that's good as well, I think he could make it. What I will say in answer to your question though is, it's just the perfect dilemma, isn't it? It's just the most bittersweet feeling. You want your club to have those players that are that good, that not only you're winning things, or in our case winning everything last year and going into this year, that you want the NRL teams and the best teams in the world to come poaching them, because it means you've got that talent. And of course we don't want to see Mikey Lewis or Jez Litton go, but it's the same as Willie Peters going. We do it with a smile on our face for what they've achieved for our club.
Is there anyone else you think that could go?
From our team?
Yeah.
I think Artur Morg, with a couple of years under him, injury-free.
How old is Artur Morg? Is he still young?
23, isn't he?
24?
I thought he was 26.
Is he?
Mid-20s.
Right, okay. I didn't know. I honestly didn't
Between
know.
23 and 26, I think.
He's still got his best years ahead of him then, really, that's what.
I think there's youngsters that you don't know. There's youngsters, we've got people like Noah Booth in the same way. You've got Martin, where you could turn around and say, well, actually, is there a chance here that maybe in the future they could continue to develop?
Booth's probably a good example of someone doing a bit like what Dom Young did going across there before
young.
he even became a name in Super League, really, a big name, and just continuing to develop there in a better system, he could probably be one.
Yeah, I think Noah Booth's a great shout.
So, any preference or any names for a replacement?
Not that I've heard as of yet.
If you had a choice, is more what I'm asking.
Yeah, I'd like Wigan to have a terrible year, and I'd like him to do something off. I'd like him to do an FC to Radford, get rid of him live on TV, so he really spits his dummy out. And I'd like him, and then we'll
do a video in a Rovers jacket.
And then we'll take Pete. I think Pete could really, maybe I couldn't say take us another level, but I think if anyone could continue that success, I think Pete could get a lot out of our club. I know there's big rumours flying around. There's a reason why we've already got Watson, which I'm not for or against yet. I need to see a bit more. We saw again on Friday the benefits of having Luke Gale in your club and changing your attacking setup and changing the way you play. I wouldn't like him to take it. I think it's too soon for him for a head coach role, especially for a club like Rovers. And then you've obviously got a lot of rumours from over in Oz. You know, I just think there's a lot going on. There's a lot of movement, and right now, I don't want to speculate too much because I think Peters has done the right thing. In whether it was his reasonings to breaking it so early in the year or not. Now we can focus on the season, but also it gives our club a long time to focus on finding the right replacement if we don't already have the name in hand.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Seabold and Justin Morgan, possibly Andrew Webster, 3 names that have been sort of rumour milled around. Obviously,
there's going to be names
with the links. Of course,
so
there is.
Webster's still at the club, isn't he? Didn't he like youth?
James
Webster.
Yeah.
I'm on about Andrew, his brother.
Oh, okay.
He went back over to us, but you've got players over there who are coaches now who have them links with the club, so they're always going to be included in the conversation, whether we want them to be or not. But yeah, as it stands at the minute, I can't really think of anybody who would come in and.
I would probably, and I don't know the names of them. I would probably be looking at whoever the assistant coach is at North Queensland. You've already got that link with a club, North Queensland, and would it be something that North Queensland would say, "Oh, you take him as your head coach, because then he might be our next."
I'm going to move us on to the final bit of news, but I will say there are so many names. The ones you haven't mentioned that are also flying around: Steve McNamara,
that was one I heard.
Massively part of the influence for why Warrington are doing so well. He's sorted the rot out at the bottom of that club. That's why they've started this year so well. And he's made players like Joe Philbin turn around and go, if I don't play well, I don't have a shirt. So now the young kids are chasing the older heads like Philbin to pick up the game. So throughout the club doing better. Is it the right choice? We won't know. Blake Green.
Yes.
He's a big name flying around. So there's a lot. We will come back to this later in the year, but I don't think we can expect an answer or anything soon. Okay. Right, I'm moving us on because the last bit of news is slightly lengthy. You two don't know this, Craig and Jimmy.
Oh, do I not?
You know the news, you know this. What you don't know is the rules to this. So yesterday, we do know it's 30 years of Super League, and we have to mention it. It was, 30 years this weekend. What we need to mention is that yesterday, live during the Leeds and Warrington game at Headingley, they did mention what was voted for as the greatest Super League 13 of all time. This was voted for on Sky Sports, so people voted for it through the app, online, etc. And it was the fans that voted. I'm going to name all 13 and let you know who they are. You can change one player. We're not getting in a big debate. We're not changing every position. So I'll read all 13 out and then we'll go around you and you can tell me which one has irked you the most, yeah?
Yeah.
You happy?
Yep.
It's a strong word, because...
Yes, I know. You ready? Right. Fullback, Tompkins. Wingers, Robinson and Hall. Centres, Lyon and Senior. In the halves at 6, Maguire and Burrow at 7. Sinfield at loose man. Roby at hooker. Morley and Peacock at prop. Ellis and Farrell at second row.
Liam Farrell at second row.
Yeah, Liam Farrell at second row. So I didn't do first names, I presume most people would know, but if you need any clarification...
No, because I am changing him for his namesake. I'd have Andy Farrell in over Liam Farrell. And I know his best position was 13, but he can play he can play second row. So
For me,
Is that
Jason Robinson.
Jason Robinson? How many seasons did he play Super League?
92-3, I think, maybe. No. He played in the 98 grand final because he scored the first try in the ever grand final try, and he might have played a couple of years after that. So he played the first 5 or 6 years.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I kind of looked at that and I thought, did he play long enough really to qualify? But then again, the Lions in there and he only did a year, did he?
Yeah, man, there's a few that I'd change. Still, what a team. It's still a great team. But if I'm picking one, Andy Farrell has to be in that team for me.
I'm going to have to be that guy. Rob Burrow, for me, was not the best 7 that the Super League's ever seen. That's Sean Long, without a doubt.
Sean Long was outstanding.
Till he played for us.
He was like 96 when he played for you, though.
I mean, I don't even know, because you've got Burgess, but then again, he didn't play that long and he became great when he went down under.
That's why I said you get one, but now Jimmy's going through them.
Yeah, I'm swapping out Tompkins
For
Rich Whiting.
That's interesting because
you're going for Stanley Jean, aren't you?
Stanley Jean, doesn't matter where I put him. Right, we've been long on that.
That was only because he said
No,
the Stanley Jean 1-13 yesterday.
I like Jaws. I like Andy Farrell being in there, so that's me. Right,
I needed more time.
we are done for news from around the world.
Comment section then.
Woo!
So we had a few comments regarding our chat about the refs last week. There was Submarine Carl, Matthew Sunman, Dave Gorspink and Liam Acton all contributed to the comments with that. Barry Bratton, hopefully we won't have to do that, but if it means we get some food, we may have to. So if you just read the comment, you'll know
I
what
enjoyed
mean.
that comment.
And then there was
I'm going to have to read it now.
a Hull fan. I think this is the guy who lives in Lincoln, if I remember rightly. I might be wrong, correct me if I am. Jipnag. So this was after last week's pod. Took my mum to her first game on Sunday. Maybe she's a good luck charm. Great pod as usual. So maybe she went yesterday as well. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
No, good to get new fans involved, young, old, whatever. It doesn't matter. Get them involved with the game. But the one I want to focus on is one you got sent, Josh. As it's 30 years of Super League, which one result would you change over that time and why? Mine would be, not mine, but his, mine would be the semi-final in 2017, Leeds v FC. If FC would have won that, in my opinion, they would have won the grand final versus Cass. Got to exclude grand finals though, and this is from Josh's relative, I'm guessing.
It's my wife's cousin, Nick, who we've mentioned a couple of times, but I'm just going to give a shout out to start. So, Nick sent this in, and I read it and I thought it's a great question. It's got my brain going. So I sent it to you guys early, so hopefully you've got an answer that we can go through one by one on this. But the shout out on this is that what really made me laugh was, so Nick's son Lucas, 10 years old, or around 10, keen young rugby player, plays for Heworth. He's always out and about. I've seen him be mascots at FC and at York, because said they go to York and FC because they live up York way, and he just loves his rugby. So the first one is the shout out is to Lucas, not just for being into rugby, but because Nick has told me that he's doing all right in the predictions league, and his predictions are picked by Lucas, the 10-year-old. And that's right. And I've said I need to get myself a 10-year-old to do my predictions because I'm not doing very well. So shout out to Lucas, not just for keeping on with the rugby because we like young people getting into the sport, but also for being good at the predictions.
Have you got one? What result would you change?
I was just thinking about this while Josh was talking. The one that hurts me the most from a Rovers point of view was the 20-0 lead for an away at home. I would change that one.
How fitting would it been a Good Friday game as well?
Yeah, that's the one that springs to mind without any sort of in-depth thought process going into it. That's the one that jumps out at me as a Rovers fan going, change me. So I'd have to say that one.
It's I found the rarest of things during the week. I found a social media comment from a sensible fan, and it was on FC's page again. It was
I was sat down for that.
It was about
double whammy.
It was about this game, and there was loads of FC fans just roaring with laughter about the game, remembering it as one of the greatest, best memories. And a bloke put, "Yeah, it's fine, but I was there in that stand. I remember at 62 minutes when you was all calling for Radford's head. Don't forget what happened in that game. And I thought...
I was in that stand. I wasn't calling for Radford's head.
Yeah, I'm not saying you was, but I thought...
I don't remember it.
That's very brave for someone to put that in the chat, you know, when all the other fans are loving it, but it's a good shout.
For me, I don't remember that as... I remember that as the catalyst for what came after that. After that, it was only upwards for us. But before that game, we was having a torrid start to the season. And that game changed the dynamic of our season. That, for me. I am picking a derby. Have you picked one, by the way?
Yeah.
A derby?
No, which game you changed?
Oh, do you want me to? I was just going to let you go and then you come back to me if you want to go this way and then go that way.
Oh, go on.
Well, no, I presumed you might go that way because that was on my shortlist. I thought I'll cheat as well and get rid of go Challenge Cup instead of Super League, and get 2015. But again, it's all a catalyst for the team we've become. Would you change, the £1 million game? Well, no, going down made us come back stronger, and it's made the fairy tale of what we've done so much better. Would you change losing the Challenge Cup against Lee? Again, a caveat, playing Challenge Cup, not Super League. And I thought, do you know what, actually, I've got a miles easier answer than that. I'd change the Vegas performance this year. It didn't bother me at the time, it still doesn't bother me now because of the whole experience. But I do think on a big stage at the NRL and how great it was, I don't even want it to be a win. I just didn't want the boys to be out there flat as they was and just get turned over and just be, quite frankly, it was a bit embarrassing, wasn't it? And it's probably quite fresh to memory. And I just think, actually, if I could have the little thing, I wouldn't change anything that led us to last year. Everything before that made us the club who we are. So let's go this season. And the one that really bothers me the most this year, if one was going to really bother me, it's got to be that one.
It's a good show.
I thought about derbies because there's a few. There's the Hodgson try. There's the last minute kind horse try. There's the playoff game as well. That ached a lot. But
Webster in the freezing cold drop goal 11-10.
The ice raid.
That was horrific, that game.
I watched that in your stupid little south stand, literally like that. Through bodies, hunkered down, just trying to stay out of it.
Yeah,
was horrid,
that was a bad day.
It was
Not
even
just for
bad
the
in the
result,
East Stand, so
it was just
dread to
it was
think
just
how you
awful.
guys
It
felt.
was freezing. But I can't disagree with Nick. I have the same opinion. We beat Leeds that night. We beat Cass. And no doubt about it, we beat Cass because they had the turmoil of Zach. Was it the drugs?
Don't you badmouth Zach.
Was it a failed drugs test or
Yeah,
something like that? Losing him on the build-up to grand final. We would have beaten them, no doubt about it. I'm 100% certain we would have done. And it's that one that really is. But there's the year before, we got beat by Wigan late on in the semi-final as well, which we would have played Warrington in the grand final. I don't think we'd have won that one. But yeah, it's that Leeds one.
Your best chance of success in my living memory at winning the Super League, of winning the grand final, is that year. If you could have gone to that grand final, because we're not here to slag Zach Hardacre off. I know I have in the past, but the amount of times that he's let clubs and people down, that was one of his biggest. And I truly believe that most clubs would have beat Cass because of the turmoil that caused that week. And you that year were more than good enough to beat a Cass team.
We beat them 3 times that year. Cup and league double over them. No one had done that. And we beat them with 12 men in one of the games.
Well, you've picked that one now. I would have agreed with him as well, but I'll pick a different game. I would go for Wigan about, 6 weeks ago? Purely because he was far too perky at the end of that game. Wearing a Rovers shirt on an FC bus. That's probably, yeah. Because other than that game, really, where it would have made a massive difference to the season, because we would have played Cass, we probably would have won. You can pick all these other games and say, yeah, derby this, derby that, whatever. None of them really would have had any real impact on how our season's finished, other than that Leeds game. So, and Dean's already picked it. So I would.
It ate that one, didn't it?
The Leeds game.
It ate more now than it did then.
Because you know we'd have won.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That ate you more than the forward pass try for Webster.
Don't make a difference though, does it?
I know it don't make a difference to your season, but in terms of moments.
Yeah, but you win and lose derbies. Grand finals
If
and
I was going to
semi-finals.
pick a derby, I would pick that one because then maybe he wouldn't have caused criminal damage to the Etihad Stadium.
When Hodgson scored, I booted the seat in front of me and snapped it.
It's all right. It's Man City's ground. Probably no one sat there.
Actually,
anyway.
I'm going to change my answer. When we beat you 42-6 at your place, gutted you scored. I would change that to 42 now. No, anyway, go on, we're going to move on.
Josh,
Right, let's have a derby preview then. It is derby week after all, isn't it?
Is it? No, not noticed.
I hate this week.
I've written, love it, can't beat it, because I knew one of you would be like, oh, I hate this week. I love derby
I love
week.
the fact.
I hate it.
I love
hate
the
it.
fact it's short week at work, 4-day week, and then we've got 4 days off. I hate the fact the beginning of them 4 days off, the first day, it's going to either get ruined or it's going to be the best weekend.
It's worse for me this year because I'm not working. I'm out of work at the minute, so I have nothing to distract me from the build-up of the derby.
Just create more podcasts.
Just a random podcast, just a new one out every day. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. And like we always say, anything can happen. We always say it. It still doesn't make it any easier, does it?
But on the plus side, we've never won a pod whilst we've never won a derby whilst doing this pod.
Oh yeah,
So-
that's real plus side, that isn't it?
No.
So
No, let me
this
finish.
is the last
let me
episode
finish.
of bragging rights because we want to win on Friday.
If we lose, nothing changes for us. They can't throw anything else at us, so not going to work much more, maybe.
I think
He says tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
Look, I think that derby, we always say anything can happen, but it does feel very similar to the last few years in terms of we are a much better team than you guys the vast majority of the time.
On
and,
paper,
On
let's
paper.
put it
And in performance, particularly the last 2
your
years.
day, you are.
Now, I would say, particularly the last 2 years, we have been better, and that's in all games that we've been playing. And we have our slip-ups. Now, if there was any hope coming into this derby this week, would be the fact that we've had a very up and down start to the year, and you guys have had some performances like the Leeds win that have been phenomenal. But unfortunately, we've both returned to the norm in the past week. You guys nearly threw away a game that you had in the bag. I'm not saying that's what you always do, but that torrid second half that you only scored 2 points, which should be a worry for you, and some of the very weak tackling through the middle towards the end where Catalan ran riot should be a concern. And then we put our best ever defeat against points against Saints and we ran riot. So you would be forgiven for thinking it's back to normal. I don't think it is.
No,
I think
I
it'll
don't-
be
sorry.
a much tighter game than people might think it has been recently. If we hadn't have done that and it wasn't at our place, I would give you guys more of a chance. However, I am struggling, even if I tried to be as neutral as possible, to give you guys much of a chance this week.
I think one thing that will benefit us this week, if it happens, is Batchelor being back. And that's not for the sake of Batchelor being back as second row, but that means that we can actually use Bell for what he's meant to be there for, which is spelling Asiata, which means that when Asiata comes off, it should have less of a negative impact on us. Now, I'm saying should, because it might not work. I know Bell had a really good game at second row last week. He might not have a great game at 13 this week if that's where he ends up spelling Asiata. But I'd like, in theory, that should mean that we're stronger for longer with having a proper ball handling 13
Like Bounty
spelling
toilet paper.
Asiata. Yes.
As look, when
Kitchen roll, not
when
toilet
Asiata's on the pitch, you guys are going to attack. You're going to attack hard. You're going to have more share. That's going to be
I
fantastic.
just hope he puts more kicks in, like the one he did on Sunday, where it sort of went straight into touch. If he can do a few of them, I'd be
But
grateful.
but he did that one. But then he put one towards the end of the game that arguably made sure you kept the win,
Yeah,
where he
that
put a
forced a
great
dropout.
rubber through to force a dropout.
Yeah.
The problem you've got there is the responsibility shouldn't always be on him. When he's off the field, you fall apart a bit, which is why you need these more experienced players to come in. Then you can build a platform. Lasoni's trouble for anyone close to the line. You've got to get to our line first. But if you do, even Rover's defence isn't going to stop Lasoni powering over when he's speeding onto a ball. So you are going to have the ball out wide to Martin, who can score great tries in the corner. You're going to have these chances, but you've got to take them. My concern for you is, as evidenced in the second half, is what goes on with Arthur. Because we're yet to see an 80-minute performance.
It was,
He'll have
for
an
me, rocks and
160-minute
diamonds on
performance.
Sunday. I thought he had a very good first half, but then second half,
I don't know enough about the guy. I've just seen performances for you. He looks like a man that is going to quiver in front of the atmosphere of Craven Park and Friday.
Right.
You've got to remember though,
Yeah.
this kid is
Craven
now leading
Prague,
a Super
we're now
League team
checking.
around the pitch, and he's 23-year-old. He's still just a kid, and he's only 5 games into Super League. I hope he can, but time will tell him.
I think he needs to go out on Friday, get in front of your East stand as soon as he can, whether it's in the warm-up or what. Get all that shit. Get your lot. Just take all that shit you're going to throw at him. Get back in the changing rooms and think, fuck him. Because if he does anything else than that, if he gets in front of your lot and goes, oh shit, this is going to be a long day. If he even lets one thought like that get into his head,
Well, that's for every
it's
player.
done. Yeah, it is the same for every player, but especially for him, like you say, young, 5 games into Super League, don't really think he played a lot down under. It was an handful of games. He's still a developing player, really, at top level. So,
And traditionally, away teams, when they run out onto the pitch, they run down to the East stand and then across and round to the post.
We always do. They'll come up. They'll come out to you. They'll be in front of the East stand, and then they'll run.
So
down
it's
that touchline.
prime real estate for him to be able to.
I'd love that as an away fan, though. Like as an away player, I'd love it if just to come out and you're giving me a load of grief. I'd just have a little smirk on my
I'd
face
have
and
the
crack
smirk,
on with
I
it.
think,
You just
yeah.
But some players people react
I
differently.
shot
don't they?
myself.
It's the fair.
Yeah.
It's going to be the first time they've experienced it.
Yeah.
You've all seen the video of Clint Newton when he's doing the podcast last year, whatever, and he says was it Willie Mason's asking him and saying, "What's actually like in Hull?"
Oh, in
and he says,
Sainsbury's.
"I'm shopping in Sainsbury's at Hessel," and
Yeah,
a Hull
I've heard
FC
this.
fan says to me, "What the fuck are you doing on this side of town? Get back to the east of Hull." He went, "I'm a professional sportsman that's travelled over for my job, and a bloke in a Sainsbury's is telling me to get back." That's the passion, that's the anger that comes from all sets of fans because it means so much. What I'm saying is, Arthur came out, he hasn't delivered an 8-minute performance. You still don't have Caesar back. Cush should be back, so he'll be good for a couple
Cush
of
will be
penalties for
back.
hitting us high, won't he?
Caesar has a chance, the same as Barron.
So I just think you've got too much confusion in your ranks there, between, because they haven't solidified together yet. And what I'm saying is maybe Arthur will come out and have a man of the match performance and you'll win, it'll be phenomenal. But I think there's an element of he doesn't know what's going to hit him when he comes out and gets that vitriol from the Rovers fans.
I will keep reserving
Fans,
judgment.
thanks.
I'll keep reserving judgment on Arthur because it's not just him that's not had an 80-minute performance. You can't expect an half-back to walk into a team 5 games in, have an 80-minute performance when no one else on the pitch is having an 80-minute performance.
No, absolutely not.
I don't think we should be focusing too much on him. Like, we haven't had an 80-minute performance full stop this year. But you guys really, apart from you've had Huddersfield, but it was Huddersfield back then, but you have on Sunday, Friday against Saints. I ain't reading too much into our second half performance against Catalan. Any other week I probably would. You'd take it in, and I think Saints took in that second half performance against Toulouse into your game. I'm not reading anything into ours. It's a derby. The players are going to be up for it. They're going to be bouncing. I do think we will just fall a little bit short. I think you'll just have a bit more in attack than us. But I think with how intense your defence is and how intense ours has been, God, it's going to be brutal on that pitch on
Could
Friday.
be one of the most brutal ones for a while.
Really
couldn't it? But
brutal.
Just quickly, and like you're speaking about brutality in defence, but on last tackle plays, are you concerned about fullback?
Yeah.
Not. Because I think Zach will go back in
I
there.
think Zach's going back.
If Caesar's back. Cust's back
Cust's
anyway.
back. Moy was absolutely fantastic under that ball on.
Yeah, but it's different when
Sunday.
you've
I
got.
know it is, but
Was he tested?
yeah.
You reckon?
There was a couple. I'll back Dean up on that. There was a couple where I'm thinking he might drop this, but then he's come and he's took ownership of it
Yeah,
and
that's the
he's
right word
claimed
for
it.
that.
But I think even in the second half, by tested, I mean, I don't really remember anything other than maybe 1 or 2 where the eye ball went up, and as he got there was someone in his face, not even just someone, a couple of people in his face. Because if he plays against your lot, that's what's going to happen. May's going to put that ball up, and by about half a second before he catches that ball, he's going to have 3 Rovers players there.
I'm with you, Jimmy. Catalan were poor at not only chasing their own kicks, but also attacking your kicker. And that's what made it more mystifying in the second half, that Arthur's kicking went to a bit rubbish at times because he had no pressure on him. It's going to be very different. It's a cold
The one time he did, someone wiped his face off and never got penalised.
I think we're going to have to move on. I will just say the one big thing is it looks like it's going to rain.
Does
It
it?
is raining.
So the rain started early, but yeah, that will be a bit of a game changer as well. It could be a big physical bruising encounter, low scoring, and the rain could hammer down. Now it could all change, it's 4 days away, but let's see.
And as per usual, it's Derby week. None of what we said will be relevant at all.
Oh yeah, we'll be so far off the mark. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. We're like Susan in the group, so far off the mark. What would you mean?
Yeah.
Come on then, Craig.
So yeah, monthly shout out then, Liam and Danny. Danny's running coast to coast, starting off in Southport, ending up in Hornsey, tell you this every week. Should be a little QR code somewhere down there. If you can, give that a scan, donate what you can. I know we ask this every week. If not, just share it with a mate. And I actually saw Patty, Liam, in the stadium on Friday night, and he looks absolutely superb. He's been going to the gym. You can tell he's been looking after himself. So that change has really had that positive effect that he's wanted it to. So massive congratulations to Patty. I haven't seen Danny, so I can't really comment. But yeah, it is a big thing. You know, just making that change can be life changing, and obviously for these two guys, it has proved to be that. So just do what you can, and obviously if you can get down to support them, then do that for us.
It's in my diary.
Is it in your diary?
Yeah,
Is it?
I've
I
already
said
written
to
it.
Liam,
I'll be down there on a Sunday.
I'll try and get down. Are you bored, Josh?
My diary's just got like boys I fancy in it and pictures of unicorns.
And question marks. Boys I fancy and unicorns. Sounds a bit like that. So yeah, just do what you can. And if you see him, just cheer him on. That's about it, really. That's all I've got to say. He did thank us for the shout out. He said it's been far more than he ever anticipated it, but he thought it'd just be like a quick 30 seconds that, you know, we'd just go, this is our course for this month and move on. But no, it is a big thing, and it's more widely, it's a more wider issue than we recognise, I think.
Definitely.
So yeah, just go from that.
Don't forget to send in for next month if people have got causes.
That was my next.
I think we've had one submission for next month already, but if it stays like that, we've got one for next month and we ain't got one for the month after, so we still need people to send them in. Don't forget, whichever cause we put out, that cause gets 50 quid for whatever you're raising money for, and yeah, you get a shout out every episode for that month.
Craig's time to shine.
It is. As usual, and I'll start off with a roundup of our guys' standings, not performance. So nothing's changed, I think. Same order. Let me just double check. Yep, same order as last week. So Jimmy's top 35. Sue's not top of the league anymore though.
What?
You're about 15th.
I'm at top out of us.
Oh, of us,
I
yeah.
think
all I care about.
we
I
might
think
need to
you're
go to
wrong.
VAR on this.
Well,
Susan's top.
not according to.
You're using the wrong league, aren't you?
No, that was in the bragging rights pool.
That's the wrong one.
What?
No, not the staff pool. The actual bragging rights pool.
Ah.
Because I'm sure I've read it. Jimmy's got, unless there's another guy
I'm
called Jimmy.
14th on 35 points.
Hey, that wasn't a bad guess. And
Yeah,
I've
and
got-
Susan's got 34.25, so Susan...
Oh, James, oh, the
Our
Wellington
league's-
League game.
Oh, we are, honestly, how professional are we? Please
sorry.
carry on, Craig.
I have done my research. We got bagged for not doing any
Hey,
research.
look, right. I've been telling people to talk quieter for the last 17
No,
days.
I'm angry now. I'm not really. I just wanted
Sorry,
to shut
Craig.
you up. Thank you. So Jimmy is top on 35
Should never
points.
doubt you on your
Out-
time to shine.
Out of the fact that I am actually shining here compared to you a lot.
Go on then.
Rocks all over there and diamonds sat here, you know, as we like the old rocks and diamonds. So Jimmy 35, Susan 34.25, as Josh has already alluded to. Myself on 30.75, which I thought I would actually drop places this week because I only scored 4.25, I think, but I actually climbed 3 places. So that shows how hard the week was overall. Dean on 30.5 and Josh on 28.5. So from last week,
Did you have white yesterday?
I had wire yesterday, and I picked up a 1 whole point across 2 games.
This was
where-
ridiculous, by the way.
Yeah, so I will just speak on this, 'cause I don't know
Yeah,
if you
go on
mentioned
then.
it, but the way the point scoring works is that it works at the end of golden point, and I don't know if some people know this or not. It's all written in the rules on the app and on the website, but I have noticed a couple of people this week have picked a draw in a game. You'll only get the points for that if it goes to a draw at the end of golden point. So I think one person was very unlucky in the league game because they'd picked draw.
It's weird because it's classed as the win point, but the win point is for the correct outcome.
Yes.
Not the correct result at 80 minutes.
And then also I picked up a half point in 2 games where I backed the wrong team, but I had it within the right margin. I had Catalan by 1.
Yeah.
I had to lose by 4.
And I had to lose by 4. So read the rules, get them in. I know people will be maybe frustrated, but the rules are all there. It doesn't work as straightforward as you think it does. But I do respect people backing draws. But just remember, if it goes to golden point, it has to finish as a draw at the end of golden point.
Always pick a winner. So I think since we've had golden point, how many draws we had? 1?
All in a league.
Yeah.
Smashing game.
Yeah.
Great game.
Credit to absolutely no one for picking Huddersfield.
Yeah, you said that, didn't you? That was ridiculous.
Come
on then, Craig.
So yellow cap for this week then was Craig Sheard. Not sure how it's pronounced, but he's got 8.25, which I think is a cracking score for an overly difficult round.
Well done.
And I'm going to give a shout out here. Evie finished with 1 point this week, so Mrs. Hindley. I had to because she wasn't the wooden spoon, so I had to just get that in there.
She wasn't?
No, because
New
margins
Forest Red
were smaller. New Forest Robin, which is Gary Lee.
Gary.
Twice in a row now he's had the yellow wooden spoon with 1 point. But obviously Evie did better because of her winning margins. So,
wow.
And this will be the last I see of you because she will murder me on Friday. Be nice knowing you.
Do not come to Apollo on Friday morning because she will not be happy with you.
On to this week then. We'll start off with the big one we've just discussed. Craven Park, Friday 12:30, Rovers versus Hull. Rovers by 14.
Rovers by 10.
All by 4. Lewis Martin in our corner, in front of us, 79th minute. Thank you. See you later.
See you bye.
Yeah.
You right in the end?
No, carry on. I need toilet, so let's get on with it.
FC by 8.
You asked him if he's right in the end. You went FC by 8.
No, it's just the way that he predicts what's going to happen.
And now if it comes in, he's going to put lottery results on. And Susan's got Rovers by 10.
Makes a massive difference to them years ago when Jimmy backed all to get beat to 0, didn't it?
Yeah.
Confidence
When
this
it came
year.
in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like 3 years ago.
40-0.
I backed Hull to get beat to 0 every single week on Sky Bet. And I
did you
made
really?
so much money out of it.
Wowza. Over to the Brewdog, St Helens versus Wigan. Wigan by 10.
Wigan by 8.
Wigan by 2.
Wigan by 13.
2-13, and Susan's got Wigan by 6. Odds still then for the last game on the Friday. Bradford versus Leeds. Bradford by 8.
I got Bradford by 6.
Leeds by 8.
Bradford by 7.
You and your bloody odd numbers. Bradford by 7. Susan's got Leeds by 12.
Nice split.
Huh?
It's a nice split between us there.
Yeah, again. That's 2 out of the 3 games there. Accu Stadium, Huddersfield versus York. York by 8.
York by 10.
Huddersfield by 5.
Huddersfield by 5.
Oh.
Nice.
Susan's got Huddersfield by 6. Halliwell Jones, Warrington versus Lee. Warrington by 10.
Warrington by 4.
Warrington by 6.
Warrington by 16.
And Susan's got Warrington by 10.
Across the board on that one.
Yeah. Stade Gilbert Brutus, Catalans versus Toulouse. I've got Catalans by 2 based on the premise of it being at their ground.
Catalan by 10.
Catalan by 10.
Toulouse by 12.
Catalan Toulouse by 12.
Yes. Catalan Toulouse to Toulouse by 12. Just put away 12.
That's what I've done, but it was the way you described it, it threw me off. Susan's got Catalans by 8. Final game of the season? Right, final game of... I'm wishing time away here. Final game of rivals round then at the 1 ball. Castleford versus Wakefield. Wakefield by 10.
Wakefield by 12.
Wakefield by 8.
Wakefield by 10.
And Susan's got Wakefield by 10. So Wakefield across the board on that one.
That was amazing. You got every single stadium name right.
I know, because I've wrote them down next to it.
You didn't have to tell people that. Could you just took it?
Did you not see me going?
No.
Wrap us up then, Joshua.
Okay. As always, we would like to start, just before we finish, by saying thank you to our sponsors, Comscath. We couldn't do this without you. And also a massive thank you, as always, to the home of the pod. As you can see where we are right now in Travel. It is very much appreciated that we come in here for drinks and to be given somewhere nice, and such a nice place it is as well. We are still battling to get food for us on the table.
I don't want one of these again. Whatever that is.
Though James did not enjoy the cocktail that he shouted for this evening.
It looked really pretty.
Despite the effort it was putting into staring it in our section.
Yeah,
I got
to be
an
fair, the
umbrella.
colour's changed. It looks awful. It looks like their stupid slushy away shirt now, doesn't it?
I actually like that one.
does.
Oh dear, is it growing on you?
Yeah, no, it's the pink one that I don't like.
Yeah, I like the pink one.
But yeah, thank you to Comscath, thank you to Travel. As always, however you listen or watch the podcast, it's always much appreciated if you can like and subscribe on that platform. But particularly, as we always say on YouTube, we're always after people subscribing. Not only does it make it easier because it comes straight into your inbox and lets you know it's off your page when there's a new episode, also helps us with sponsorship, helps us getting out. The more you get involved, the more we can keep doing these videos and keep doing podcasts for you. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and on YouTube, hype. So that's that from me today. I'll be the first one to say, up the Robins now, I'll be the first one to say, see you bye.
See you, bye.
See you, bye.
You all. See you, bye.